Well, trying.
Okay. So we are almost live. We are right live. Hi everyone. This is your girl, Jajasma. Welcome to another live video. On Saturdays we have Make Money Online videos, and then I do my chats with online entrepreneurs or other entrepreneurs who are business minded, who have an online business or brick and mortar business, but any entrepreneur, anyone who has, like a really nice story to say. And most entrepreneurs, almost all entrepreneurs have, like a winning story to share with the audience. And I am here, this page, especially on Make Money Online Saturdays, I am sharing with you the winning stories of successful entrepreneurs. And even if they're not successful, let's just, because what is success anyway? But we'll get into that another time. So I have with me today SoFeya. SoFeya, do I pronounce your name correct?
SoFeya.
SoFeya. SoFeya. SoFeya. Good?
Yes.
Okay. So I have with me here SoFeya, and she is an online entrepreneur. And what she does, how she does it, and so on and so on. You will hear about that um anytime soon. So as I already said, on Saturdays we do the Make Money Online videos. And before I continue, I call people on my page Jaja. So if you're here, you are a Jaja person. Jaja means strong-minded, strong wills. You're an overcomer. You are doing, you are despite adversities, you still continue. You have your own mindset, your own opinion, and you stand behind what you are saying and what you are thinking. Those people are Jaja. Jaja is a Creole word in my language, and that is what it means. So Jaja persons, you are welcome to this live stream. We have one person already. Welcome to the live stream. We have with us Coach SoFeya, and I have some questions to ask her, and she will share her story with you. SoFeya, SoFeya, please tell the viewers who you are, what you do, because we heard a lot about coaches, on what are coaches doing, who are coaches, and so on. We are interested. What is a coach? But first, tell us who you are and what do you do.
Okay, now say that one more time. Repeat that one more time, the question.
Um, who is SoFeya, and what are you doing? What do you do?
Okay, well, I am an entrepreneur like you are, and I coach people and helping them reaching the potential that they have within them. So I actually teach people about what potential is, what the purpose is, because there is a lot of myths about it. People don't clear really about what it means. So I teach them what that means, what it is, and how exactly to bring that into your life in a simple, step by step way. So that's pretty much what I do. I've been coaching my whole life. Actually, I've never done anything else other than being a child. So in my professional life, I have never done anything else other than coaching. So coaching
Wow.
is all that I have done my entire life.
Wow.
Now, does the coaching, um, how do you say it, methodology, the field has evolved and changed over time.
A
But
lot.
what I actually do has never changed. And I really came to the conclusion that not only I've been doing this in this lifetime, but that I've been doing this for lifetimes before. Because
Okay.
it's it's it truly is all that I am, that I think, that I feel. I mean everything, truly. Yeah. So it's really going to be great if somebody who's thinking about coaching I'm not like a beginner coach, someone who just came out of some school. So there's a big, huge wealth of knowledge in it because that is all what I do.
So you have evolved in your coaching. So you started out as a coach, and as you said, you've been doing that your whole life. Most people, when they start, entrepreneuring, before they start entrepreneuring, they have already worked for someone else. They have been in the corporate life or helped someone else. But you started out right away being an entrepreneur. And that is really something. You're the first person that I came across, especially since I'm doing my live interviews, who did this from the start. You never worked for someone. Why? I know
That's
that
true.
that is not one of your questions, but we spoke about it in our pre-interview discussion. And yes, I found it really interesting that you started out right away entrepreneuring and working for yourself. Why?
Well, I didn't really think about, starting as an entrepreneur. That wasn't on my mind. I didn't really know what I was doing exactly, how it happened. But as a young child, my mother wanted me to skate. She wanted me to become a skater, and I grew up in the Soviet Union. I was Jewish in the Russian blonde, blue-eyed, skinny, tall girl
Ah,
society, and I was short, stocky, dark-haired, dark-eyed girl who was entirely different from everyone else. And so, with that, I was humiliated and abused and called names, and they kicked me out. My mother had this huge dream, and she kept taking me to the rink to skate on public session after they kicked me out. And one day, this woman showed up and she approached my mother and she said that she's a new coach with the skating academy and she saw me skate and she loved what I was doing and she said that I was beautiful and talented. Now you can imagine how that would feel to someone who is stupid, lazy pig, humiliated and called names and not being valued whatsoever. And all of a sudden, someone comes to you and tells you that you're beautiful and talented. Not that I believed her. I didn't.
but she
I,
believed in you.
right. I didn't believe her. I just really attached myself to this woman that she became the world for me. And the biggest thing that I was scared of was to lose her and disappoint her. So
Oh.
I worked my ass off to keep her love. And one day I was standing on the top of the podium and I became a state champion. And and standing on that podium, all of a sudden I realized that it's not true that only blonde, blue-eyed, tall, skinny girls can be champions. That,
You you
that
broke the
I'm a
narrative. You
champion
changed the
now, right?
narrative. You changed the
So
narrative.
that I had the potential within me, and so that was a very powerful moment in my childhood. And my coach Jana had brought that in, and
Out.
I remember she wasn't just a coach at the at the skating academy. She was a student, a physical education student, actually at the university in my hometown and she really wanted to be she was pursuing a graduate degree and she wanted to become like a scientist, a sports scientist. So she got accepted to a school in Moscow in a different town for a PhD program.
Is that
And
back home in the Soviet
no,
Union?
I
Oh,
was in a
you
different
were
state,
already.
right?
Okay.
I was from Riga, from Latvia, and she was moving to Moscow. In fact, she lived with us in our home because while she was a student at school, she had to live in a dormitory because she was from a different state. And you don't, I'm not going to tell you what kind of dormitories we had in the Soviet Union for students, but my mother decided that it's not a good place for her to be in a dormitory, and it would be much better if she lived with us and she could coach me like nonstop, right? So that's how she was with us and she trained me. But then when she moved to a different state and she went to graduate school, she invited us to come to visit. And at that school, she was doing all these experiments with exercise physiology and stuff. And she put all those different gadgets on my body, and I had to go and skate. And she was doing some research. And I was like, Ma, I want to do this when I grow up. And so now, after she left, they kicked me out of the academy again. My mother just couldn't take it anymore, and so my skating stopped. So I stopped when I was about 11, and
Aw.
I hated skating. The only time I loved skating when I was skating with my coach, and it wasn't so I
Oh,
didn't know. You don't, as a child, you don't process those kind of things. Like, I didn't process that I didn't like skating. I thought,
you liked her.
because I loved being with her, because what
Mm-hmm.
she was doing for me.
Mm-hmm.
So skating ended. That was the end. I never ever imagined that I was going to be involved in skating ever again.
Okay.
We we immigrated to the United States when I was 18, and I had to go to school. We were refugees. We had no money. We were getting, well, you're not in the United States, but we have like social programs. So we were
Yeah.
receiving social
Citizen.
programs for life, food stamps, because we had no
Yeah.
money to go to the store to buy food. I had to study English because I didn't speak English. And I was 18 and I had to
Mm-hmm.
go to school. And I was giddy. So, there are relatives that came to America before us, and people tell you, in America, you have to have a good education so you can, make money and you can marry and have a child and family and stuff like that. And I'm totally on board with that. I mean, this is what you do. Like, so what should I study? Well, they tell me you should study, like, well, the jobs that are good in America is a computer programming, accounting, doctor, lawyer, this kind of jobs. So I thought about it and I was like, well, I'm not really, I hate chemistry and I hate biology, so I'm not going to be a doctor. Out. Um, I'm not really into being like a lawyer or something, so out. But I'm good in math. And I hate well, we already figured out I hate computers. Okay, so computer programming was out of the way. So it was going to be math and something to do with math, which is accounting. And so I went to school to get a degree in accounting and be an accountant. And I mean, I was just doing what all other people were doing. And one day, I was in New York City, and there was an ice rink, an outdoor ice rink in Manhattan, in New York. And I stayed with my friends nearby. I saw the rink, and I was like, "Oh, it's so cool! I love skating outdoors." So I had skates, and I went to skate, and I skated on this outdoor rink just for fun. And this guy was just standing there and he saw me skate and he was like, "You're so good. Wow, would you be interested to work at an ice rink?" Sure. At this moment, I was going to school, cleaning houses and like working some minimum wage job. And here he invites me to have this work at the ice rink. And they gave me like $7 an hour, which was a lot of money at this time
Yeah.
because I was making $4 an hour cleaning. Now giving me seven for skating around. It was like, wow, this is really cool, right? Go to school, get paid $7 an hour. So it was really nice. And after a little while, I started watching people skate, and then my friends, I got friends there, and they tell me, "You're like so good. why don't you go and audition for a skating show? And you could travel around the world and perform, in Disney on Ice. So I don't know if you're familiar. We had like ice capades in America at that time, so that like you can go to ice capades. Ice capades is actually like coming in town. You can go audition. So I go audition. Well, they're all these blonde, tall, skinny, beautiful girls.
Again,
They
again with
didn't
the
take me.
blondes.
So they're like, no, thank you. But now the seed was kind of planted, and the next show comes in town is Disney on Ice. I go to audition again, and they tell me, "You're perfect." It's like, "Great, we're going to take you." And so I'm like, "This is great. I'm going to become an ice skater and a show skater." I always loved performing. I love
Okay.
performing. In fact, if we didn't immigrate from America to America, I probably wanted to become an actress.
Okay.
And I loved acting. But, well, not in America. I have accent. I mean, it was never even in my mind that that was a possibility. So here I can travel around, go, wear costumes, makeup, this and that, and do that. And so who wants to be an accountant sitting in the office with the numbers? I mean,
Not me.
I mean, it's not that I was thinking, what it would look like for the rest of my life being an accountant, but how many kids
Mhm.
go to school, they don't think about the rest of their life, how it's going to be. So I didn't think about that either. They just told me, go to accounting, this is like a good job, this is going to be a good job. But now I'm like, I don't really want that. I want to travel around and perform. And so I stopped going to school.
What did your
And
parents say?
so I stopped going to school and I'm waiting. I'm waiting for my envelope to the invitation to go to the show. And I wait a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month, no envelope. And meanwhile, I haven't uh, quit school per se. I just haven't been going to classes. Again, I'm still in school enrolled, but just not going to classes. Again, I'm not like thinking, hello, you're gonna fail. You're not gonna be going to school, you're gonna fail. So so I had a boyfriend at the time and he said, you know what are you gonna do with your life if you're gonna have no education? And I don't know. He said, why don't you become a figure skating coach? And I was like, well, how do I become a figure skating coach? And a few weeks later, he gets back to me and he said, there is a school in Delaware and they have a program where they teach how to, you get a degree in physical education, concentration, and figure skating science, and you can become a coach. And I made an appointment for you with the dean of the school so you can go there and and see. And so I kind of escaped from home and went there. And when I came to the school, it was like that school where my coach Jana went to in Moscow, where she put all these
Mm,
gadgets on me. It was
mm.
just like that. And in that moment, I was like, I want to be like her. And in that, like,
Oh,
that's when it was like, I want to be just like her. I want to do what she was doing. I want to be just like her and help other kids to grow into champions. And so I was like, I became obsessed that that's what I wanted to do. There was a problem that I had to pay for that school $15,000
so
a year.
that was the moment you decided, okay, this is what I'm going to do.
That was the time. Yeah. I didn't
When you
know.
apply, it was like the application when you applied to be for the school, for the figure skating school, right?
Yeah.
And they put all those things on you.
Well, it was a little bit, yes, but but because access you study as a skating coach, as a sports coach, you have to study biomechanics, exercise physiology, nutrition, like all so many different things, anatomy, sports psychology. So it's a whole comprehensive program. So it's not like something that you wake up in the morning and you go like, oh, I'm gonna be a coach, and you just type in on on Facebook, hey guys, I'm a
I'm a
coach
coach,
now. Right, exactly.
like all the other coaches.
So that's how it started. And I went to school, and I mean I had to take loans, and then figure skating coaching, no one pays you, so you have to find your own students, and
Oh,
you are self-contracted. You have to be hired by the ring, but you have to pay to the ring to coach there, and then you have to find your own students. So of course, I wasn't thinking about any of this stuff, and I didn't care about anything. I had to take so many loans to pay for the school.
oh my goodness.
My mother was like, "Are you out of your mind? You're going to be what? A figure skating coach? And how are we going to pay your bills?" And I was like, "I'll figure out somehow. Somehow it'll happen."
When
But
you're
there was one.
strong-minded and strong-willed, you'll figure it out, and eventually it will work out. Always, especially when as long as you have your mind set on it and you really, really, really want it, it will work out.
I want to share this one little story with you, because it was a magical moment, that when I decided to go to the school and I had no money. My dad took loans, and I had $3,000 short. I was $3,000 short, and it was 3 days before I had to pay my $3,000 to get into that school. And as an immigrant and not working, where in the world are you gonna get $3,000?
Three
I mean,
thousand
it's like
dollars.
$3 million. You know what I mean? It's, I mean, for some people it may seem like, it's not a big deal, but for me it was $3 million. And so there was no way to get that money, and I kind of started sinking in and going into, feeling like it's just not going to happen. And I remember my mother sending me out to get mail. And I go out to the mailbox, I get the mail, and there is an envelope with my name. And I'm like, what is this? I open this envelope, and there is check for $3,000 in my name.
Really?
And I was just floored. And the truth is, I got in this car accident like 6 months before, and
Wow.
I was going to like doctors and lawyers, whatever, going through this car accident thing that I didn't even think about. I mean, I didn't know about this money with the car accidents and stuff, but that the check came 3 days before I had to pay an exact amount of money that I needed. And I took that check, and it was like, here's my $3,000. I'm in. And
I want to write a book someday about all these sorts of miracles.
well, when you want something, all of the universe conspires to give it to you. And at that time, I didn't know about the laws of the universe and all of that stuff. I didn't believe in anything. And yet I was able to recognize this miracle. And so in my mind, the whole time, no matter what kind of difficulty I was going through, in my mind, I thought it was a destiny for me to become a coach. This is my
Mm.
destiny. It was supposed to happen. God wants me to do this. And this is why I'm here. And that, just remembering that I went through so many different challenges in getting where I wanted to be, but that kept me going for a long, long time. Yeah, and
Yes, that
I
is
have many miracles like that afterwards, but this was a huge, huge thing.
true.
Yeah, and I want people to know that because you never know how how your dream is going to be against all us when it's like everyone is telling you this is stupid, it's not going to work, it's not possible. Look around you, look what other people are doing, it's ridiculous, and you just like, I don't hear you, that's what I want. That's it.
Really? I keep telling people that on my page. I keep telling them, as long as you are strong mind, strong will, doesn't matter what the people around you are saying. If you want it, you just go for it, regardless of the adversities. And that is why I call people on my page Jaja, because that is what a Jaja person does. Someone who is strong minded, strong wills. You don't care about people's opinion. You just stand for what you believe in, and you just go through. Well,
But they
let's
don't
go
know
on with
no one can see what you see, only you can
especially.
see that.
Exactly. That's true.
So, and not only that, it's not their destiny, it's yours.
Exactly.
So
And
it wouldn't work for
we
them.
grow up thinking
Yes.
that other people's opinions matters. Yes, it does. But if you really want to do something and you really know that, if you're so strong-willed, if you really want it, you shouldn't care about other people's opinions. Really,
Well,
you
I
should just
will.
go for what you want. It's a law of nature. And really Christians say that the law of attraction and so on, it's not good, etc., etc. The law of attraction is a law of God, it's a law by nature. God has created the universe like that. The thing is, we Christians, you just need to put God first. That is what you need to keep in mind. You need to put God first. But the law of attraction, so the whole you get what you want and what you ask for. If it is with God, you really get it. You are going to get it. There's a comment, oh, from Love Friends. Thank you, Love Friends. Exactly, she says, and that is right. Really. So let's go on with a question. Did you want to say anything else?
Hmm. No,
Oh,
I think this is a main. Well, yes, I do. I do want to say something else. Um, I would say. Well, first I want to say money was never the thing for me to pursue. So I think this is very important because I wasn't going after money. Like, you have to distinguish between your soul's desire and your ego's desire, because the law of attraction, I don't call it law of attraction, I have some other ways to call this, but but this law is operating on your soul level. You're going to get what your soul wants, not what your ego wants. So it's very important to distinguish that you really have to connect to your heart and ask you, why do you need to do this? Is it just for money, or is there a bigger reason why? And you
yeah,
have to have this vision so strong in front of you that there is absolutely nothing that's going to derail you.
yes, and deter you.
Nothing.
Yeah.
And actually, I was 19, and I started going to the school, and I would tell people. They asked me, "What do you do?" I said, "I'm coaching figure skating," and I laugh because everyone's like looking at you like, "You're doing what?" Like this kind of weird stuff. And I'd be telling people, "Well, I'm coaching figure skating, and I'm going to be coaching at the Olympics." And I had no doubt that I was going to coach at the Olympics. And they're like, "You nuts? Like, do you know how many coaches are out there? And how many, like, what it takes to get to the Olympics? Like, you have to be lucky to get to the Olympics. And there are a lot of people that have a big name in front of you. You have no name. You're no one. No one knows you. You just, you were not a world champion or Olympic champion. or European champion. I mean, I stopped skating when I was 11. So as
And
part
people
of
people
skating,
buy this stock. People buy this stock. You are nothing. You are nobody. You have no name. People buy this
I
stuff.
was nobody, like truly nobody. And but I was like, I'm going to be coaching at the Olympics. Now, people would tell me, some people would tell me, oh, you told me you were going to do that. I thought that was cute. And then she said, but you meant it. And then other people that were coaches, there would be all the coaches that had a lot of experience, and they just thought that I was ignorant, arrogant, stupid, stupid kid who
That you're
doesn't
delusional.
write. But when I was coaching at the Olympics and my student got second, you know, it was like you really meant that because I did accomplish that dream. Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
So let me see the question. So we spoke about who you are, what you do, that you're a coach, and can anyone? I believe that we already spoke about it, but can anyone just become a coach? Because nowadays we have a lot of coaches, as I already said. There are a lot of coaches, and I do understand their where they're coming from. You mean, and I mean, if you went through something, sometimes you can coach someone to, to become a better version of themselves. Or let's say if you want, I overcame, I have a roadmap on how I did my online business, how I started out, especially in my country. I did this, that. And people say, if you have overcome so many, if you overcame so many obstacles and adversities, then you can help others, through the same path so that they can become whatever they want. So in that sense, I understand coaches, because a coach is someone who stands on the sideline and, cheer you on, motivate you. But sometimes, and a lot of times, it goes deeper than that. And that is where you have like the other types of coaches who come in, who need to come in. Those who studied, the whole coaching, the whole psychology, and so on. So please tell me, can anyone become a coach? What do you have to do to become a coach? Tell us.
I love this question. And of course, anyone can become a coach. It's just like anyone can become a teacher. So you go to school and you become a teacher. Now, the difference between a coach and a teacher is one teacher goes to school and she wants to just get a job, and another person becomes a teacher because it's in her heart. She is just absolutely obsessed about being a teacher. So that dictates a level of the kind of teacher you become, right? Because those who just do whatever is necessary to get that
The basic.
done are doing one thing, and
Please
those
close
who
a minute, please. Please.
so those
Thank
who
I'm in a live now. Thank you. Do you want it? Excuse me, it's my daughter. She's obsessed with makeup and she did a look and she wanted me to watch the look. Excuse me.
so
Yes.
it's just um here I'm going to put the distinction what coach means, because people think since I have done this I can help people to do that too. But coaching isn't just about helping someone to do this other thing, because there are many different factors involved why you have to do it this way or that way. So the difference between, so I see the world as coaches and athletes. So when you get to do something, that's like being an athlete. Athlete is not a coach. I don't do what athletes do. I coach athletes. That's a whole different thing. So a lot of athletes that can do what they do, they cannot really teach other athletes. They don't actually understand all of the different dynamics that went into them being that. So they may remember, well, I came to drink this many times a week and I've had to eat this kind of food and this and that. They remember that, but they don't know why they were taught that. Because if I would coach you, I may have give you a completely different set of things to do than that other person who did it themselves would suggest. Because I would look into your psychology, your mindset, why things are happening a certain way, how they all integrate together into different pieces. So it's just a different mechanics. And it's not an inborn skill. You can learn that. So my what I am saying is, if you have it in your heart to become a coach, find a good school where they teach the skills of how to become a coach and learn those skills, because there are specializations. For example, there may be specialization in marketing or specialization in spirituality or relationships or whatever. But that's like already, it's already the surface level where you're going into. But underneath, there is psychology. Well, psychology is really the key thing, and there is also teaching methodology. Like you have to understand different learning styles of the person. So, so it's very important to understand these different things, because one person is more visual, one person is more
Mhm.
audio. I can say it. You understand what I mean? One
And
person is
sometimes
more
what they
tactile,
went through,
right?
makes them into, a whole other person. They have a whole other thinking pattern, and you need to dig into that. You, as a coach, what I understand now, you need to find out what happened to this person, how does this person think, so you can, trigger that specific type of thing that will enable them, to come across a certain barrier or obstacle that they have in order to perform better. So I
Yeah,
would say
because
that the different coaches that are out there, maybe they work like, it's like a medicine.
like
The
what?
medicine is there. It's like medicine.
It is like
The medicine
medicine.
is there,
Yes.
and
There are,
generally it works for, this sickness and this sickness. But sometimes you need a little bit more than just the medicine. Sometimes you need more than, so if it's like on the surface for like most people, it will work a little bit, but sometimes you need that extra tweak. You need to know, you need to dig a little deeper with specific persons in order for them to know, to really become better versions of themselves, or to really achieve their goals that they
what
have, right?
what what you just said brought me up to analogy with, again, medicine. A person can be sneezing and have a running nose and coughing, and you may say, oh, this is what I did. I took this and this, and that took
Mhm.
care of my running nose and coughing and whatever. But but you don't know what the disease that person actually has, because the symptoms may be the same, but the
Exactly.
underlying condition is different, and you
Exactly.
doing this is actually hurting this person, because maybe there is some really serious disease underneath it, and you didn't let this person go to a doctor, and now they're dying because they did what you suggested, and it did not address this at the time.
Mm-hmm.
If
Correct.
that makes sense. So
Yes.
that's where, even, and
The
as a coach,
specialized coach is coming.
yeah, as a coach, I'm trained. I have a master's degree in psychology, and a master in it. But I am not a licensed therapist. So this is a distinction. So if someone
Mhm.
has some kind of condition that I can recognize, it's like, you need to see a licensed therapist or a psychiatrist, because I do not deal with psychological disorders. And psychological disorder can show up as just it may seem like a normal thing. So you have to be very careful in understanding that. So this is why we have an insurance to take, to take care of that too. You don't know. Sometimes you can trigger and something within the person, and they go and commit a suicide. So I
Mm-hmm.
mean, we don't think about this kind of stuff, but this is a serious, serious thing. So that's why. And again, anyone can become a coach, but you need to do a diligent.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to be a coach to serve, there shouldn't be an issue with going to school and getting an education. If you just want
Because
to
you really
coach
want
to
to
make
help.
money, then you're not a coach. It's not
I
for
read a lot
service.
of places. I read a lot of places that um just make sure you start out surfing. Serve first, the money will come. As soon as you start to serve and you're doing it wholeheartedly, the money will follow. Many person have attested to that. So let me see if there are other questions. We already spoke about, you never work for someone and what made you decide to work for yourself. We already this spoke about that. Well, was it hard to start, to start as an entrepreneur? You told us how when you decided to be a figure skating coach, but now you're not like a real like a figure skating. You're not coaching athletes anymore, right?
Correct. Correct.
But how did you start it out? I mean, a lot of entrepreneurs when they start out, they don't have money or they had to overcome adversities, obstacles, and so on. How how was that? How did you start?
Well, the Olympics was a big kick for me when I went to the
Oh
Olympics with
yes,
my students.
please tell us about that because that was something that I really found interesting when we spoke about it at the pre-interview.
So I got my dream. I'm coaching. It's not only I'm coaching at the Olympics, but I'm coaching an Olympic, um, not hopeful. How do you say it? She was she was supposed to win the gold medal. The best. I'm coaching the best athlete in the world, and the whole world is looking up to see her win, and she falls twice.
Mm.
And so she is in second place. Her Olympics is over. She's a silver medalist, not a gold medalist. And it's kind of funny because my whole life up to that moment, and when I'm saying my whole life, because I told you I started coaching when I was 19, and I was on my journey to get what I wanted till I was 35. So that took 16 years of being like this. Okay. So it's not like it happened. This happened and then 3 years later I got what I wanted. No, 16
Oh
years.
my gosh,
Okay.
16. So you
16.
were crazy for like 16 years?
Yes. 16 years. 16 years.
Oh my
And
goodness.
yes. And so finally this happened, right? And she fell down, and I find myself that I didn't get what I wanted. So imagine
And
this,
you mentioned
16
in our
years.
interview, you mentioned in our discussion that was like one of the failing moments for you. And I was like, failed? You came second place. Please tell us.
Well, this is how I mean, you live in the world, right? So imagine in my world, I have a lot of haters. Okay, when when you starting out something with a group of people and you all at the same level, you're all friends, but as you start going a little bit higher, all of a sudden people start helping you to get a little bit worse than where you are. Okay, so I mean, it's a war, truly, seriously. I
Mm.
lived through the war
Mm.
and I've been knocked down so many times. I can't even tell you. I mean, it's crazy. But each one going down, something would happen to help you,
Get
get
up.
back up in some way. But at this
Yes.
point, I did not train the student from the beginning. She came to me already as an accomplished athlete, which was
Oh.
which was a piss off to accomplish some of the coaches who were more accomplished than I am in name, and this athlete chose me and not them. So you can imagine this, right? And so, but of course, a lot of people had to shut up because now, well, I already had national students of my own, but they were younger. So a lot of the people like the jealous, they look at me like, why is her and stuff like that. And now she falls. So can you imagine the victory
Yes. Their
of my
victory and
of my
your
enemies?
failure. And your failure.
Ah, it's her fault.
Okay, so now I get it that it's a
Okay,
feeling.
so this is like, oh my gosh, like, and you know what? It Things are the way they are, and that's how they're supposed to be, and they may serve purpose that you have absolutely no clue about. But at that time, I did not know anything like this. I was very just ego-driven, results, and that my Olympics, my world, that's it. And it was very, very hard to go home and have this some people, oh, I'm so sorry this happened to you. And others being like, huh.
You see, I knew wouldn't make it. Okay,
so
and then there was
so that
another moment. Yeah.
so that was my personal hurt and pain. And of course,
One of them. One
but
of
then there is
them.
a pain and hurt of the athlete that I worked with, that we have put gazillion number of hours and effort into training. And I mean, there was no stone unturned, no stone. She was the best in the world in every way. And yet,
Mm.
obviously, there was something that was missing. And I was devastated for me. I was devastated for my athlete. I could see what she went through, because
Mm-hmm.
she also put 16 years of training to get where she was. And her mother
Mm-hmm.
put 16 years of life and enormous amount of money to get to this level. And the difference between first and second place, it's like a difference between, I don't know, a billionaire and nothing. That
Mm.
really is the difference. I know people are like, what, you're a coach of an Olympic silver medalist and you're a failure? Like, people don't get that. But my student did not win the silver medal. She lost the gold.
Yes, yes. That's how you said it, yes. She lost the gold. She didn't win the silver medal, she lost the gold.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because in this last Olympics, there were two girls that were competing and they skated both perfectly. And one placed first and one placed second, and it was heartbreaking. But they did perfect, both of them. So they could go this way or that way. They cannot, neither one of them can go and say, I'm a failure, I did something wrong. Like, they know that they did everything they could. But
Mm-hmm.
my student couldn't say that. She made two major mistakes. So
Mm-hmm.
both of us came home like head down. Don't want to see anyone. It's not. I mean, she's an American skater, so you know how she's an American idol. So she comes home from Olympics. People meet her at the airport. She has to face them, being like, "I put my country down," because the
Mm-hmm.
whole country was expecting this win. And so she had a very hard time dealing with that. As a matter of fact, she's now became a speaker herself. She has done enormous amount of work on her own self afterwards because it had such a huge trauma psychologically to deal with
Mm.
this. And for
How did you
me,
evolve? You yourself, how did you evolve after that?
how did I feel? Well, I
No,
have
how did you
well,
like?
I
How did
had
you evolve after that? Because you didn't do skating anymore, right?
yeah, of course.
What
I was a coach, and I had students at home that were, that looking up to me, and they expect that I will train them to be the best that they can be. So I could see in that moment that there was a gap in my education and that there was something that I couldn't help with. I did not work with her on mental skills because
Wow.
I was not a mental coach. I'm a figure skating coach. I teach technique, a method, how to do elements. She could do the elements perfectly. I could train her body. She could do what she could do 100 times over, back and forth, backwards and forward, with perfect technique. But technique is body. It wasn't the body that failed her. So I knew that I
Mm.
did not want my younger students go through what she went through. So it was my responsibility to learn more skills that I could be a better coach and teacher for my younger kids. And so I went back to school to get my master's degree in psychology. And so I started sports psychology at first. So that's how it kind of started. And then sports psychology, as I started studying it, I started seeing the gap, what was missing, because the psychology in school is academics. It's not the same thing as applying skills directly to the person who is going out and competes. So I could see that there was a gap, something was missing. I needed different kind of skills. So I started searching for other ways: yoga, tai chi, martial arts, meditation, shamanism, vision
Oh my
quest. You
God.
name it. I went on search all over the world to seek the tools to help my students get better. So it's not, as you can hear this, that it wasn't that I went on the search to help to heal me so much. I actually didn't even think but I mean when I finally came to school to get my master's degree in spiritual psychology, and they were talking about healing and stuff, I was like, I don't need healing. I need tools so I could teach my students. I didn't even know. So this is how a coach thinks. What tools can I get to help my students to get better? So I
Mhm.
wasn't looking what tools can I get to make more money. I was looking for tools. How can I help my students to get better? So this is how it was. And when I went to school and I got my master's degree in spiritual psychology, well, they kind of like took my life apart completely from scratch and and took me back in time to start seeing all of these unresolved issues that I had, being stupid lazy pig, being abused as a child with my mom, my coaches, sexual, not okay, that too, but I'm not gonna get into that. But the different mental, emotional, physical abuse that I had to go that I went through, that I didn't even, I didn't process all of that. But all of these things, you do not know how they come up and how they
Mhm.
hold you back from things
Mhm.
and how they are not allowing you to go where you want to be going. And so I started completely undoing my head, my soul, everything took apart,
Your
put it back
upbringing.
together. Yeah. And coaching skating kind of like went away. And this was the time when I realized that I never really liked coaching skating, that I I don't like skating. What I did love was helping
Bringing out the
people,
best in people.
bringing the best in people. Yes,
Hmm.
bringing their potential up. I was obsessed about that. I am obsessed about it now, and I will be obsessed about it for the rest of my life. And
Especially since you saw what your only your coach, as a young girl, as figure skater, especially since you saw what she was capable of doing with you, right?
yeah, yeah,
I believe that everyone has their own potential. Everyone has it. You
every
just
single
need
one.
to.
Yes.
Yes, I believe
And
that too.
it took a long time to understand what that potential is. I know there is a lot of stuff out there today, and people say there is unlimited potential within you. You can do anything you want, and da 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 da. Da. It's not true. So it's a myth, and a lot of people fall into that, and then they get hurt. So it's very important. So I look at it in exactly the same way as skating, because I feel that if I take a young child that is 5 and I teach them wrong techniques, guess what? They will never make it. I kill that child's career if I do not teach them perfectly the way I need to teach them. And so, as a coach, I take huge responsibility of what exactly I teach and tell my students and my clients, and what I teach them about potential, because this is a lot going on in our society, because we have egos, and our ego wants to be thinking that it's really great, and it wants to feel all special, and so it can take us in the wrong direction if we don't understand what potential is, and precise ways to go there. And so that's what I do, and the method that I have created is to tap in exactly into what that potential is for you. So it's not just some idea in your head, but you actually understand what that is and how to build that by teeny incremental steps, step by step, for you to not only realize, and I use the word realize, but I like to say embody more, because that potential is already in you, it's you. It just hasn't been embodied yet. So
Mm.
it is your DNA. And with that said, your DNA is not the same. Your DNA, Lucille, is not the same as mine. So your potential is completely different from mine. Your path is different from mine. And no one can tell you I did this, and so you can do it. Because my path and your path and what I did and worked for me may not going to work for you at all. So it's very
It's true. I've
important.
experienced that.
It's
I've experienced
important
that.
that yes, that everything
So
has to be
generally, it will
matched.
work, but
Mhm.
you always have the specifics, and the specifics will have this, help the certain people through, you know,
Yes.
the different.
So the
So
method,
we're already at 6:04, but please tell us. So then that means we will have to wrap up. But I want to hear one more thing about how you came at, where you are at, because you were at the lowest, because what you're doing now, you have this whole business going on, but how did you came like here? You told us the whole, like the whole journey, but it happened for you at except you told me that in our pre-interview, that it happened for you at the lowest point. Well, was it the lowest or one of the lowest points in your life? And I like to hear that, because as I already told you, when we met, my goal is really for people to understand that you shouldn't give up. If you have a dream and you want to go after it, you must go after it. You shouldn't give up when you come across adversities. If you really want something, that is, if you really want something, you shouldn't give up when you come across adversities, when you come across trials and so on. Those are the learning points. And I want to show people on this page that they should realize that they should recognize, okay, so I'm just started out with my idea. I want to achieve something. I want to serve people. and in the process also help make some money. But I will come across some difficulties, and I want them to realize when they come across the adversities that they are the learning, those are the learning point, and that they should be motivated to continue and not throw in the towel in the ring. That is my goal with all these chats. So please tell us one of those lowest moments of your life. I call them one of them because the failure with the figure skating champion, I call her a champion, was one of the lowest points, right? So tell us about the next one.
Wow. Well, skating skating quit me. I never quit. I'm not a quit. Like, I don't quit anything. I do not leave anything ever. Like, uh, I'm, what do you call it? A dog. Chinese horoscope. I'm a dog. Loyalty is my quality, big time. So I stay. But gosh, there were many. But I would. That's a good question.
You were
I don't
sitting
know
in
where I'm
your
going.
living room
I mean,
and
you
thinking
know,
about
you ask because I see them, this happen, and then this happen, and then this happen. So So I'll tell the story because, but I also want to make a distinction.
when you sat in your living room and you were thinking like you had no money to pay the rent, you had all these other things going on, and you came up with an idea. Tell
Yes,
us about
well,
that
I'll tell
moment
that
because it
story.
was really a turning point.
Well, I guess the reason I'm kind of like in between because now I'm seeing learning points. Anytime that you want something that you don't have is a learning point. So because
Mm.
it does any obstacle, any barrier, any of those things are learning points. The challenge about the learning points is that we don't know what they are, and we also don't know what the lesson is, and that's the hardest part. And we'll come back to that. But as well, so you bring me to the birth of my business right now, Lucilla. So skating went away with getting my master's degree in spiritual psychology. Skating, I wrote a book, and skating went. And what I mean by that is like, when you're a coach or a teacher, you're only a coach or a teacher if you have a student. The moment you
Uh-huh.
don't have a student, no longer you're a coach. I want to keep that in
True.
mind. You're only a student or a teacher, a coach or a teacher if you have a student. So I lost my one last student in coaching skating, and I was
Mm.
terrified of that moment because I mean, at that point it wasn't already 16 years that I have put into coaching skating, but 21 years. Okay,
Wow.
21 years. And my last student leaves. And this happened because when I shifted from being this insanely competitive, ambitious coach, and I started bringing in spirituality into it, my students were like, well, this is different. Like, we don't know if it's
Mm.
going to work. I was scared. And my last student left. And I was so terrified because I had no idea what am I going to do. I didn't know anything else. That's all I know. All I know is how to coach. That's it. I don't have any other skills. One, coaching. And at this moment, I sat and I was like, okay, so what do I do now? And then it was like, you know what? This happened. And I had this fear all my life. And now I don't have to be afraid anymore. I'm free of fear. And that was the moment when I was like, I can do anything I want. So what can I do now? I just just got my master's degree in spiritual psychology. I trained facilitation skills. I've been coaching my whole life. So what else can I do? And the phone rings, and there's this person calls, and she said, "I need help. What do you think? Do you think you could coach me?" And that's just I went, "Oh." I'm like, this is what the universe wants me to do now. Okay, so that was my first client, and then the second client, I took some class on some seminar, and we were just doing like work with like partner work, and we were pretending as we were doing the enrollment call, like an enrollment conversation, and I'm like pretending doing an enrollment conversation with this person, and he's doing a pretend enrollment conversation with me, and then he says, "So when do we start?" And I'm like, "Pick any date." And then he's like, "Well, how about next week?" And I'm like, "Sure." And I'm like playing, right? And, and then, you know, the facilitator speakers asking like, "So what did you find the coach?" And he's like, "I found the coach." She's like, "This is my coach." And I'm like, "Yeah, this is wonderful." And then he calls me, like, "When do we start? How much do I pay you?" I'm like, "What? You're gonna pay me?" So
Okay, okay.
that's how it started. And so I switched and I started doing that. And I wrote a book. And so I wanted to promote my book. So I became a speaker. And so now I'm doing my coaching practice from scratch. And my book, my husband divorced me. I'm on my own. And I have a mortgage of $7,000 to pay every month. And I'm thinking I can do it. I'm going to get on my feet, and I'm going to be able to, support myself. And 4 years later, I ran out of time and money. Well, I ran out of money. So I'm not going to say time. I ran out of money. So I didn't have enough money to keep paying my mortgage and to keep supporting my lifestyle. I did not have enough clients to do that on my own. And I was sitting on the floor going like, what do I do? Like, how do I do this? I don't know what to do. I mean, I've done everything, you name it, all these years. It was 2016. I started coaching in 1991. So how many years is that? 25? 25 years. I have nothing. I have 1 month left to pay my mortgage. And I mean, I have a couple of clients, but that doesn't pay my bills. So I'm out. And it's hard to find coaching clients. So those people who like going like, "Coaching is gonna get so much money." No, you won't. Don't expect that.
I know.
Do not expect that. And if you feel like I said how I got my first two clients, and it makes you feel like, "Oh, it's going to be great. The clients just gonna keep coming." They won't. Okay, you just have to know that. And I have a coaching school now, so I train coaches, and I tell them, do not expect that you're going to have clients just knocking on your door, just like that. That will not happen. Okay, even though you may gonna get success initially, this is how the universe is teaching us. She's going to say, "I want to see you. Are you going to stay with me? Are you really committed? Do you really want this? I put you on it and I show you this is the path. But this is just the bottom of the mountain, and the mountain is really high, and it's very steep, and it's going to be very hard to breathe. And there's all these other things that's going to be on your way. It is going to be a very, very hard journey. So I know that there is a lot of people going like, "But I just became a coach and I'm making all this money." It's not true. It's not true. So just know that. Anyway, I'm on the floor. What I do, I'm here to make a difference in the world. I put my life to it. And I have a book. You know what? Many people don't buy books anymore. And those who do buy books, few of them read these books. So I can't make a difference in the world if people don't buy my book or don't read it. I can't make a difference in the world If I am speaking and there is just few people showing up, I can't make a difference if I can have lots of clients. So what do I do? And it needs to happen now because I have to pay my bills. Okay, next month. And I'm sitting on the floor and I'm like, what do I do? I don't know what to do anymore. I don't have anyone. My parents are dead. No one can help me.
And
No
you put
one.
up your house for sale, right? At that time,
Yeah.
you put up your house for sale, right? And it wasn't selling.
Well, I also both of my parents passed away. I'm divorced. I don't have any family. There's just no one who can help me out of this. No
And you
one.
have a house that is up for sale and no one is buying. And no one bought the book. And you have only 1 month rent mortgage to pay. Plus the bills. So you were like completely alone, completely lost.
Completely alone.
Okay, and what happens?
And that moment, I was reading a book. I was reading One Dyer's Power of Intention, and it said, "You receive what you desire for others." And I said with that, you receive what you desire for others. Others are a mirror of me. What do I desire for them? What do I desire for me? I should desire for them. Right now, I desire unlimited abundance. I need unlimited abundance now. And so I wrote on a piece of paper, I am unlimited abundance I want, and I put my water bottle on top of that. And you see that I'm drinking water, right? This is the practice ever since then. And so I walk around my house, I drink my water, and I see this piece of paper. I'm unlimited abundance I want. I'm unlimited abundance I want. And suddenly I see those coasters. And I see that people don't read books, but coaster you don't have to read. You can just, you saw it and that's it, it's in. It's immediately, instantaneously programs your mind. And you drink water, right? You drink water no matter what. I mean, even if you forget to drink water, eventually you get thirsty and you will drink that water. And so that means every freaking single time you're going to grab that water bottle and you will see that coaster. I'm transforming your life every single moment. And so I saw this and I got so excited. I thought I'm going to make these coasters and I'm going to sell them. That's going to be my business. And so I wrote 50 different qualities formulas within an hour. And I thought it was going to be so fast. I'm going to do it like, this coaster is so much easier to create, right? Than to write a book that takes like 3 years to write and publish and all of that. And then I started researching, and then it turned out, I mean, it was really expensive to make these coasters. So it wasn't going to be as easy as I thought it was going to be. And I put my money together and I put it into making prototypes. So this is another thing. It's, I guess, my personality, right? Taking that $3,000 check, giving it to register at the university and saying, I want to become a figure skating coach. Here's my money. And this was the same exact thing. I took whatever I had. I want to make these coasters. Here's my money. And my family is like, you have nothing. How are you going to pay the mortgage? Are you stupid? Why are you making these prototypes? And I'm like, you don't get it. I see it. It's going to happen.
It's your vantage point because you are at that is what you were seeing. They don't see it, so they can share in what you want to achieve. But I have a question from someone. And I think I'm not sure if I already did a video on that, but one of our viewers is asking, hi Lucille and Sophia. I have a question. Do you have any advice for when you feel like what you are doing has no value? What you are doing has value. I'm correcting it right away. What you are doing has value, especially if you have a passion for it and if you are born to do it and you do it without thinking, you are just so good at it, it has value. E.g., when you know these clients aren't coming in as you would like, you start feeling that but that you don't bring any value. How did you cope with that? So this person, I think, knows that she has value, but it is that, the the customers aren't coming in, and then in fact, the person wants to know how to deal with it. I think the person knows that this person brings value, but how do you cope, with the clients
Well,
not coming in and so on?
first of all, it's a great question, and I have actually a gift for people that watching this, which is going. It's success. I imagine the success coaster. Okay, and I will answer this question with a question. Do you believe, if you believe in God, universe, source outside of you, is the source a failure?
I think no.
Okay. Is this source a success? Is God
Yes.
success? Let me ask you this. Is God anything else other than success? Or is it
He is
all
suc- he's
success?
embo- he is success itself.
And if God is all success, let me ask you this. Is there anything outside of God that exists? Or everything is God? And
Revolves
if
around him who
everything is
created.
God and nothing else is, then does failure exist or not?
Ah, can exist.
And now you see that failure does not exist outside your head.
It's just they are just learning points. It's just a
It,
growth curve.
it exists only in your head. It's not even it is a learning point, but it doesn't even as a learning point, it's still not a failure because failure does not exist, period. Why? Because nothing outside of God exists and God is absolute 100% success. And that means this thing that you call failure is actually success. You're a success at eating donuts and gaining 200 pounds. You're a success at watching TV all day long. You're a success at procrastinating. You're a success at not paying attention to things and
Because
ignoring
you did
them.
it, you completed it, right? You were successful at procrastinating. You're successful at watching the TV because
Absolute
that is what
success.
you did, and you completed it. So it was a success.
You're a success at not
Maybe not the
completing
correct
things.
thing to do, but it was a success.
So the question here is if you can be so much, if you can be a success at that, and you're an absolute success at that, what else could you be success at if you just chose a different kind of success? So whatever it is that you created that you think is a failure is a success. How did you create that? How can you create something else? Because you are 100% success.
So so the person doesn't think like it's a failure, but how do you deal with the fact that it looks as if you don't bring value, to people, and because customers are not coming in, you're not getting noticed. But
You
so
don't get
how
what
do
you
you
want. So we will go for, well, instead of calling it success failure, we'll say you're either getting what you want or you're not getting what you want. That's it.
okay, okay, yeah.
That's all it is. So you acknowledge that you want something, but you didn't get what you want. So it's very people do not people. So the first thing would be is really this goes back to the method because everything that happens is aligned with your soul path. And if there's the
Oh,
lessons that you learn are specifically aligned with the specific quality that your soul needs to learn. So the lesson may be, the event may be exactly the same, but let's say for one person, this particular event would be about learning how to trust, and for someone else is learning to be success, and for someone else is about learning to be support, and for someone else it may be learning about whatever vibrant health or cooperation. So we don't know what exact quality and what lesson is within this thing. So with Imagined Life, the program that I have, we actually know what is the lesson. And so in that, I would ask you, so you're saying this happened to you, right? Yes. What quality are you on? I am on support. And what do you see? Uh, no one is supporting me. It's complete failure. I'm going Facebook Live and there's no people, no one's watching. It's failure. Well, how can we? So, what do you? So, tell me exactly what you see, and then we begin deciphering what belief do you hold about that. What is it that you call that there is no support? Because we know that God is support, and is there another way that you can see it? And when you
And that's
start
exactly
going
what I
behind
do.
that, you
That is
start
exactly what I
seeing,
do.
this is what I see. I see this. So always remember one thing too is that at this moment right now, the thing that you don't have and you want and you judge it as failure is a past moment. There is nothing you can do about it. It's
Hmm.
past. So it doesn't matter what it was now. It's just past and it's a
Yeah.
feedback. It's a feedback that's letting you know this is where you are right now. And the next question is, now that we know I am here, let me ask you, what is actually you want? What is it that you want? And then with that quality, and then you start seeing, this is actually what I want. And then how can you create that? Because a lot of the times we respond to incorrect ones because we think that if I have something, then I'm going to be this. We have beliefs that if I have more money, then I am rich and successful. But the truth is, you are rich and successful whether you have money or not, and you have to change the identity around that because it doesn't money does not make you rich. For
So
example,
you're saying that it is how you look at things,
you have to
right?
change your identification because people they misidentify themselves with things that are not true. Like people
Mm-hmm.
misidentify themselves with their career, they misidentify themselves with their roles, they misidentify themselves with the things that they have, and they think, like we would say, I am cold. No, you're not cold. You feel cold, but you're not cold. That's not who you are. Do you see? So that's
Mm-hmm.
these misidentifications begin leading you to believe that you want something which is not accurate, that pushes you to take action, that produces eventually results that you're going like, why do I have that?
Mm-hmm.
But we do not see how that operates. So we teach people specifically the mind wheel, how the mind wheel creates, and then we teach them how to regulate that and to understand exactly what you want, how to want it, and how to create that. Following that's the method that we were talking
Yeah.
about that took
The
like
men that you can
40
that
like
you
30 years to create. Yes, to
yeah.
decipher that. It's like I don't know, like in skating, to decipher how do I teach a triple axel to tall, skinny, bigger, shorter, and this in different ways. How can I teach that? And I can repeat this over and over and over again with different people in different. So that's the method that does that.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll
The
tap
method
in
that
and
you have discovered.
yeah.
All right, so we have to wrap this up. We were busy for like almost an hour and a half, so we'll have to wrap it up. But it was so informational, so informative, and we learned a lot, and we had a nice chat. So I want to thank you for sharing your time with me because we spent quite some time together, right? So thank you for coming out and sharing your story with the viewers and helping us, maybe if it's even a little bit to change our mindset. So thank you. I want to thank our viewers, whether you're listening to it now or whether you're listening to it afterwards. Thank you for watching. And if you found this informational helpful, you can contact SoFeya. I will put her the link to her Facebook um, in the comments of this video. I will add her website as well. And then if you want to contact her, then you can do so, of course. Thank you, Love Friends, for coming on, and Clarissa for coming on, and for your questions and for your comments. If you found this informational, or if you just want to help a girl out, just share this video, like this video, and remember that this video will also be placed on YouTube. You know, from since a few weeks already, I have been placing all my videos on YouTube. So if you missed this and you cannot find it on Facebook because Mark decided to change the algorithm or switch stuff up, you can just go to YouTube and you will find this video. So thank you for watching and have an awesome weekend and a blessed new week ahead. Bye everyone.
Mhm.